Although the Ducks lost key players such as Marcus Mariota, Eric Armstead, and Ifo Ekpe-Olumu to the 2015 NFL Draft, the Oregon football recruiting team is keeping a one door closes, another one opens mentality. Ask any basketball player what it's like to play on a team, and they'll tell you it's like playing with their brothers. With the first pitch of the 2016 women's softball season being thrown last Friday, we decided to take it to the streets of UO to see how excited students are for the upcoming season. However, we've talked X's, let's talk O's, and the inevitable conversation, who's going to fill Marcus Mariota's shoes this upcoming season. We're out here at Matthew Knight Arena, home of the Oregon men's basketball team, who, after going down to Los Angeles and sweeping the LA schools, the Ducks came to play with their axes here tonight at Autzen Stadium, chopping down the Cardinal 45-16. Numerous former Oregon football players participated in today's 2016 NFL Pro Day, which served as their opportunity to boost their draft stock. It was a game of defense here tonight at Pape Field as the Oregon Ducks took on their Pac-12 SoCal rivals, the USC Trojans. You got it, Emma. It's April, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what that means? Yes, it is finally acceptable to talk about Oregon football again. Moving on to this week's top play. Ennis storms down the court, tosses it to Tyler Dorsey, who single-handedly ends the drought in California with this wet three. Thanks, guys. Although the Ducks lost key players such as Marcus Mariota, Eric Armstead, and Ifo Ekpe-Olumu to the 2015 NFL Draft, the Oregon football recruiting team is keeping a one door closes, another one opens mentality. Even though the Ducks are unranked for the first time in 6 years, a string of 4-star recruits have verbally committed to Oregon, and one 5-star USC decommit has scheduled a Ducks visit. Thomas Ahrens, Director of Recruiting Operations, stated that he believes big recruits are interested in Oregon because of the opportunities there are for playing time in nationally broadcasted games.
We have a saying with anybody that's doing well on Sundays is going to help kids on Fridays. So getting those guys on Fridays committed to us to play on Saturdays to ultimately play on Sundays. So any success we have, and obviously Marcus and Eric Armstead were tremendous teammates, tremendous players. Those guys, it all speaks really, really well for our program. And obviously, I think recruits, when they're looking at that, they want to know, obviously, a place where they can get a degree, but they want to see on-the-field success. And definitely the NFL is a big part of that.
But it isn't just stars or rankings that the Oregon football recruiting team looks at.
We don't look at stars at all. For us, there's a whole background of what we do, but there's so much more that goes into it, especially in becoming an Oregon Duck. We're looking into guys, what they're doing on social media, what type of person they are at the school, what people outside of the football program have to say about these guys that we're recruiting. So on top of them being really good football players, they're really good guys.
The Oregon football recruiting team hopes to bring in 50 to 75 potential recruits before the season ends. Reporting from Autzen Stadium, I'm Lena Bond. Back to you guys at the desk. Hello, I'm Lena Bond, and welcome back for yet another episode of Duck TV for 3. It was a busy weekend for Oregon athletics, so let's get straight to the action. The Ducks piled on the wins during the final day of the Oregon Relay Saturday at Hayward Field, finishing with a total of 8 victories from the likes of Devin Allen, Ashanti Horsley, and Marcus Chambers. None may have been bigger than Cole Walsh, who carried over momentum from a solid indoor track season, clearing a PR of 17.9 to win the pole vault. Moving on to the hardwood, Ducks freshman guard Tyler Dorsey is following teammate Dylan Brooks' lead in planning to declare for the NBA draft without hiring an agent. This approach leaves the door wide open for the Ducks standouts to withdraw from the draft by May 25th and still return for an Oregon season. ESPN college basketball analyst Chad Ford lists Dorsey as the 60th ranked prospect in this year's draft. Over at PK Park, Oregon baseball scored a total of 24 runs this weekend, sweeping the 3-game series against USC. On Saturday, Oregon had 13 hits and recorded its most runs in a Pac-12 game this season with 12. Starting pitcher Cole Irvin didn't have his best game of the season, but his teammates kept him in the game by scoring 7 runs in the second inning. Oregon is now over 500 in conference play for the first time this season. The Ducks look to continue their 5-game winning streak when they travel north to take on the 7th-ranked Oregon State Beavers at Reser Stadium Monday night. The Beavers are coming off an upset series loss against another Pac-12 rival, Washington State. The 2nd-ranked Oregon acrobatics and tumbling team earned a 2-event national championship Saturday night at the NCATA Individual Event Finals at the Farrell Center. At the conclusion of the competition, sophomore Taylor Galvin and senior Nicole Sabold were both named NCATA All-Americans. And now it's time for this weekend's Top 5 highlights. Number 5, Stephen Packard with the ground rule double over the right field wall. This man needs just one more double and one more multiple RBI game to move into the top 10 in both categories. Moving on to number 4, USC outfielder Timmy Robinson launches an absolutely massive home run to left field. Ooh, that one has gotta hurt. Robinson led his team with a double and 3 RBIs on the day. Number 3, the Hayward crowd has come to expect Devin Allen to win every time he steps on the track, and boy, oh boy, does this man deliver. Allen racked up a total of 3 victories on Saturday. Number 2, damn Devin, back at it again with the W. I swear, ladies and gentlemen, this man cannot lose. The dual sports star has earned 7 wins between the Pepsi Invitational and Oregon Relays. And lastly, number 1, Tim Susnara built a double off the right field wall in the 4th inning. Looks like the USC defender lost track of that baby, allowing an Oregon runner to score. And well, that's it for this week's episode of Duck TV for 3. Be sure to tune in to Duck TV Sports this Wednesday at 8 p.m. for news, analysis, and more. Until then, I'm Lena Bond.
Thanks, Kate. Hello and welcome to the season finale of Duck TV Sports. I'm Armin R. Rodian.
And I'm Lena Bond. We have a lot of content for you guys, so let's get straight to the madness. The men of Oregon aren't the only team on this campus who are going to be dancing this year. For the first time since 2000, both the Oregon men's and women's basketball teams have qualified for the NCAA tournament. Oregon, who finished 6th overall in a tough Pac-12 conference, found itself squarely on the bubble after losing 3 of the last 4 regular season games. However, thanks to a 70-69 upset win against the 11th-ranked Huskies in the Pac-12 tournament, the Ducks are awarded a 10 seed in the Bridgeport region, which features number 1 overall seed, UConn. Oregon will play number 7 seed Temple on Saturday in Durham, North Carolina.
While men's and women's basketball have been making moves in the postseason, Oregon baseball has quietly swung its way to 6 straight wins. The Ducks most recently bucked the Santa Clara Broncos, allowing only 3 runs throughout the 4-game sweep, 2 of which were shutouts. The Ducks head down to Berkeley to start a Pac-12 play against California this weekend. The Golden Bears are on a bit of a win streak as well, winning 4 straight games. First pitch on Friday is at 7 p.m.
In Sunday's conclusion of the Oregon Invitational, Oregon's softball team tallied another run-rule win in the 12-1 victory over Hofstra at Jane Sanders Stadium. The Ducks' bats were absolutely on fire against the Pride, racking up 11 runs in the 3rd and 4th inning alone. The number 4 ranked Ducks are now 24-0 on the season and remain the only undefeated team in the NCAA with the Pac-12 play remaining. The Ducks will now face Cal on Friday at 6 p.m. to kick off a 3-game Pac-12 series.
Oregon lacrosse will be in Colorado this weekend for stop number 4 and 5 of their 8-game road trip. On Friday, they will take on Vermont, followed by Colorado on Sunday. Junior attacker Camby Sukar is 1 assist away from the career century mark and will likely hit 100 this weekend.
After coming off a historic win against the reigning national champions, the Baylor Bears, the number 2 Oregon acrobatics and tumbling team now look to take on the unranked Fighting Falcons on Fairmont State at home March 17th.
It seems that more than just a few teams are hot this time of year. Oregon men's tennis will be in San Diego to face the San Diego Toreros for the SP Invite from Thursday through Saturday. The Ducks have served up a blistering 11-2 start to the season, including Thomas Laurent breaking the program record for consecutive singles wins.
Get your brooms out, ladies and gentlemen, because Oregon's women's tennis team completed a Pac-12 opening sweep over the Washington schools with a 4-0 win over Washington State on Sunday at Holling-Baring Fieldhouse. With the win, the Ducks moved to 8-5 overall as they look to play the Bruins at home March 17th. Now we toss it to Kylie Gelfand, who is going to talk about the 3 of the most decorated track athletes in Oregon history.
Thanks, Lena. With Edward Cheserek earning his 17th career national championship, today's episode of Triple Threat, we will be covering the best track and field athletes in Oregon program history. Let's start with Edward Cheserek, who became the most decorated NCAA athlete in history, with his 16th and 17th titles last weekend. He helped lead the Oregon team to a 3rd place finish with his NCAA record of 28 points on the weekend, and in doing so set a new indoor collegiate record for the mile at the Last Chance meet with a time of 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Cheserek was named the Pac-12 Athlete of the Year and is the only athlete who has won this award 4 years in a row. Moving on, Ashton Eaton, the two-time Olympic gold medalist in the decathlon, has often been called the greatest athlete in the world. Although recently retired, Eaton is still the world record holder in both decathlon and indoor heptathlon events. While at Oregon, he won 3 NCAA decathlon titles and won the Bowerman Award, given annually to the best male and female track athlete in the nation. We couldn't talk about Oregon track without mentioning Steve Prefontaine, the son of Tracktown USA. Prefontaine once held the American record in 7 different distance track events, from the 2,000 meters to the 10,000 meters. In Prefontaine's 4 years at Oregon, he never lost a collegiate race at any distance over 3 miles. Prefontaine is remembered to this day in Eugene. A rock in his honor sits in the place of his fatal car crash and is often visited by runners and track fans everywhere. The rock made Eugene a mecca of running, and Prefontaine paved the way for all Oregon runners to come. We just crossed the finish line of today's Triple Threat. Lena, Armin, back to you at the desk. Gotta run.
Thanks, Kylie. So, Armin, who do you have going to the big game?
Good question, Lena. I have Kentucky and Arizona, with Arizona cutting down those nets. Who do you have?
I got UNC and Duke, with Coach K and his Dukies coming up on top.
Well, let's see if your bracket can be a little less busted than mine was last season.
Oh, trust me, it won't be.
Well, best of luck, Lena.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for all things Oregon athletics. Now back to Kyle for news.